What's up, everybody? Family, how we doing? How are we doing? It is your boy, Papa G, back again with another Papa G show. And y'all, I got my pen, I got my paper. So you already know we about to get into some things right now. All right. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and just put this out here. Okay. This is going to be a very heavy um business and political show. Now, I usually don't like talking about heavy things or make the show so heavy with business and politics. We get enough of that as is. I really want this show, and I really try to create this show to be a space where you can come for about 30 45 minutes, sometimes an hour, depending on the topics of the day, and you just forget. You just forget about your day. You come and you relax, unwind. That's really what this is all about. But today is a little exception. It's a little exception to that rule today. And as a consolation prize, I dropped some content, some of my thoughts and commentary on some things. So if you need a little pick me up after watching this, just go on over there and watch some of those little Papa Thought videos. Okay, this is just my commentary on some of the things that I be scrolling through on the internets and finding and all of that. With that being said, I need you guys to do the Holy Trinity. I need you guys to do what that thing is saying at the bottom of your screen. Okay, like, comment, and subscribe. I needs all three. Okay, I needs all three. Okay, and guess what? That don't cost you a dime to do. Don't cost you a dime to do. All right, I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know if you like the video, and most importantly, I really want you to subscribe to the channel because that tells me that you're riding for me for real, for real. All right. With that being said, y'all ready to dive into this show? Y'all ready for it? All right, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, last show I told y'all, I said I'm gonna start with the Housewives, okay? And I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna keep my promise. Okay, we're gonna start with these Housewives. Okay. Sidebar. Is anybody else, or is it just me that was shocked that the reunion didn't just start? Like I got on, I went to the Bravo. I got my little snack. I was ready to eat, and come to find out that it wasn't even on. It's coming on next week. I guess NBC Universal and the people thought that the folks were still gonna be partying on the 4th of July. They were just gonna let it linger on until the 7th. If you was like me, okay, you party harder on the 4th, recovered on the 5th. The 7th, you were ready to go. Okay, you was ready to go. And brand new week. You went to church and everything, okay? Again, that's just my little sidebar. But we all gonna talk about these housewives thing, okay? And y'all, look, since we didn't have the reunion, I went back and I watched the season finale of Real Housewives of Atlanta. And then I went and I looked at some videos on the YouTubes, binge worthy, have a YouTube about this Kempire, as I call him, the Walter Cronkite of media. Okay. He got a video about this incident. There's so many videos out there, So if you really want to go down a YouTube rabbit hole, I advise you to do that. But now they saying that this was a scheme that Angela set up to come to Angela with the bullshit. That's what we is that that's what the people saying. The people are saying that this was all of Angela's doing. And I'm sorry, I don't believe that. Speaking of, let me go ahead and change this banner, baby, because y'all know how okay, all commentary is alleged. Okay, I don't know I'm just giving you what I see, putting my little spin on it. Okay, what you do with it is what you do with it. But I'm just here to tell you, some of the people thinking that this was a whole scheme that Angela set up. And y'all, that just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. It didn't make sense that Phaedra set this up, and it doesn't make sense that this is a scheme that Angela set up. Because why are you gonna set up your own husband? Why at y'all's charity event? That doesn't make any sense to me, y'all. Like, this just doesn't make any sense to little old me. Doesn't make sense to y'all. Y'all let me know in the comments. But that's what they're saying. They're saying that this was a scheme. Angela, on the flip side, is now suing Marcus because now Marcus, y'all remember him? Cheers. If your name is Angela Oakley and your husband's cheating on you. Now he's saying that it wasn't Phaedra, it was Angela. Okay. This, again, going back to my first comment, this was all a scheme that Angela set up to come to you with the, you know, I just don't believe that, y'all. This man done changed his story about 5 times. Again, I said this in the last video. You know, it didn't make any sense why that man was there to begin with, right? Because if you debunked the lie, that's it. There's no need for this man to come. There's no need for this man to do anything. If he lied about your husband, what makes you think he's gonna tell the truth about who set him up? Allegedly. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Staying in Atlanta, though, Miss Phaedra Parks was on The View. She was on The View. She sat down with Whoopi, Joy, Sonny, Sarah, and Alyssa. And they talked about this scheme. And she said, Phaedra just flat out, I was set up. I was set up by a housewife. Now, who is that housewife? Is she alluding to Angela? Because surely she's not alluding to any of the others, because I didn't see where Phaedra had an issue with any other housewife besides Angela. And I mean, you know, it wasn't a issue on screen. It was an issue in the confessions. That's when Phaedra made her slick comments and, you know, said that she being Angela was the oldest looking young person she know, and all these other things. I hope we get to the bottom of this at the reunion, and I hope they don't drag this out. I hope this is not in part 3 of the reunion. Y'all need to go ahead and put this in part 2 or at the very end of part 1, carry it over to part 2, and then be done with it. This does not need to be a part 3 bombshell. It doesn't need to be, because to be honest with you, this don't make sense anyway. Again, like I said in the last show, these ladies, and this is across the Housewives franchise, these ladies are going to think about whatever and whoever. And what I mean by that is, if they think that your marriage is on the rocks, that's what they're going to believe. And they're going to find things to make, you know, that point valid to them, no matter how far or how hard they got to grasp at straws. So the fact, Angela, that you felt the need to clear your husband's name, and the only person that really matters to is to you, because them ladies don't care. Them ladies don't care. And again, they probably don't believe it. What matters is that you believed it. You believe that your husband was remaining true, that you believe and you know that your husband wasn't at this alleged restaurant with this alleged female. You know that. So bump what the public perception is. Bump that. That's this marriage is between you and Mr. Charles. But going back to Phaedra at the View, she says that, or she hints, I should say, about a possible political run. She said that she has had a illustrious career. She's done this, she has done that, you know. She's a mortician, she's a Reiki healer, she's a lawyer, she is, excuse me, a mother, you know, that's a job in itself, y'all. She does all this, she's a reality star. She's all these different jobs and business avenues and blase. What avenue is there left? And Miss Parks said, hey, politics. That's what she's saying. She's saying politics. And to be honest with you, I think Phaedra would be a good politician. I really do. I think that, and I think that this is going to be a start of a wave of some sort. And I'm going to tie this in with our next topic. But I really truly believe that you're going to start seeing a wave of these reality stars getting their way into the political scene. And I think that they're going to use 45, 47 as a roadmap. I think that 45, 47 has made it okay to be in one sector and known for one sector, known for reality, and be to some a stand-up and a great politician. And let's just stay on that for a moment. I really truly think that reality TV toughens your skin so you can withstand these storms. Say what you want about 45, 47. He took all them licks on the chin. He took them all on the chin. He may have cussed and fussed and did X, Y, and Z, but it took them all on the chin. And I think that's because he's been in this reality scene for so long. He's been the topic of tabloids for decades. And when you have been the topic of tabloids and everything and anything has been written about you, what else can people say that's really going to get to you? That is why going back to the last show, that is why it just didn't make any sense with this whole Paramount suit that 45, 47 launched. It just didn't make any sense to me. And I dive deeper in that in the last show. If you want to know my commentary on that, go watch the last show. But I think Miss Parks is actually going to be good at this politician things if she decides to get in it. You know. And speaking of reality stars and making political moves, Dr. Heavenly Kimes from TV's Married to Medicine has launched. Yeah, she launched it July 8th. She launched her political career. She's going to run for District 93 for the Georgia State House of Representatives. Now, first of all, before we dive into to what others are saying, let's just again talk about why I think, or what the qualities that she has that I think would make her a good politician. Again, she's been in this reality space. She has been the center focus of major controversy in Married to Medicine. And for the past couple of seasons, she has done everything but really give a good glimpse into her life. Like, we see all the good, right? We see her opening up Heavenly Beauty. We see her, coaching or grooming her son to be, the next, dental dentist, I should say, and who may take over the family practice. We see all of that. We see her, with her daughter and teaching her about business and life and womanhood and all of that. We see her with her relationship with her husband, Dr. Damon, and how some of these rumors that get started on their particular marriage get started and how they handled that. She's been in that reminiscence. And let's just be honest, when you open yourself up to be in the political scene, you open yourself up and your family to whatever you got in that closet. And again, one thing that reality TV does, and somebody who's been on reality TV as long as Dr. Heavenly, bloggers, press, other sources, whatever the case may be, may have dug into Dr. Heavenly. If there was anything malicious and all that, it will come out, right? Like the cheating allegations against her husband, Dr. Damon, which I don't personally believe that. From what I see, I don't personally believe it, but that's neither here nor there. What I'm getting at is that, again, she's been in this reality space, TV space, for quite some time. So she can, again, like 45, 47, take all of the hits that's about to come her way. Now, she also has given her opponents on either side of the aisle some great stuff to throw rocks at. They have about 10 seasons of her, calling people dumb, calling people bees and hoes and making your mama jokes and talking about, husband's genitalia. There's so many, and that's just on the show. There's so many things that they can attack her on. And then we get to the YouTube, and it's even worse. Now you're talking about somebody else's husband and how this, and in your opinion, you think that person's husband is, verbally abusive or emotionally abusive. I forgot what you said. And then, you talk about your other co-stars' finances and all these things that were for entertainment purposes, but can be twisted and turned into something more sinister, right? Because if it's anything about politics, politics is one thing, and that is they love a good image. They love a good image. No matter what may be under that image, they love a good image. I think enough, going back, I don't give 45, 47 credit for a lot. But 45, 47 has crafted this image, and again, it was decades in the making, but crafted this image that he is this great businessman. Crafted this image that he's tough. He says what is on his mind. He speaks in common language. He doesn't try to fluff up with words. Okay, he talks to you just like you would talk to your friend, your spouse, or whatever. think about, and I'm sorry for getting off on a tangent here, but think about when the press got so upset with Barack Obama, President Obama, for wearing a tan suit or for putting his feet on the Resolute desk or fist bumping his wife. There's no way that they will allow President Obama, hell, I even put Bush up in there, to be dropping F-bombs left, right, and center. But again, it goes to that image that 45, 47 has crafted. And all he does is just shores it up with each press interaction. He shores it up. So Dr. Heavenly and Miss Parks, I'm willing to bet that they have the skin thick enough to do this task. Now, with Dr. Heavenly, what other commentators are saying, shout out to Kempire. Kempire is saying that can she, or he would like to see her being Dr. Heavenly in a debate. I think it would be entertaining. I think that the debate would be entertaining. Again, going back to 45, 47. One thing that he did with those debates, especially the one that knocked President Biden out the race, is he made it entertaining. The quick comebacks, the eye rolls, the theatrics of it all. Lord, if I can speak today. He just made it so entertaining that you wanted to watch. And I believe that's what Dr. Heavenly would do. If, she was in a televised debate. But going back to the image of it all, and what her opponents can say is that, do you really want this reality star who has done X, Y, and Z to really represent you? Does she have the aptitude to do the job? I believe that would be one line of attack for her opponents. And sidebar, her opponent, unless this person is not running again, I have not done my due diligence on this. So please, again, read the banner below. All commentary is alleged. Her, the person who's currently the representative in the 93rd District of Georgia, in the Georgia State House, is a Black woman. So I guess my question is Dr. Heavenly going to primary her? Is she going, or did that person just step down? And so now, there's an open field. Like, she's not going up against another Black woman. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Y'all have to find it out. And let me know which I find out. I don't remember, but I am a student of history. And I, remember reading when Ronald Reagan was running for the presidency back in the 80s, his big thing was he was an actor. How can this actor be good at anything? Now, he was the governor of, one of the largest states in America, California, before he ran for the presidency in 1980. But again, people viewed him as an actor, especially when he ran for the governorship. Ooh, Lord, I want to say back in the 60s, I want to say. Y'all fact check me in the comments. But I really want to say the 60s is when he ran for governor of California. So I can't wait to see how this all gonna turn out. I think this is all gonna turn out real interesting. It's definitely gonna be interesting to watch. And one thing that I would say is that when I went to Dr. Heavenly's website, I noticed that if you scroll down way down to the bottom, now the website do look kind of budget. Okay, it gives we are definitely grassroots this campaign, which ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, but if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, it says it's like over 300 days to voting day. So she's announcing almost a year in advance, you know. So I'm assuming that she's going to take this time and really get her name out there to people who may or may not know her. Um, maybe craft a different image, try to break away from that reality star to a concerned citizen. Um, Quad is her campaign manager, and some commentators on the YouTube are saying that this is for a storyline, or this, they believe that this is for a storyline, and I don't believe that. I don't believe that this is for a storyline. I think that Heavenly was like, you know what? Instead of talking about these politics, if 45, 47 can do it, I can do it too. And she called up Quad. I'm pretty sure Dr. Jackie didn't want to do it. So she called up Quad and like, girl, you want to be my campaign manager? Okay, well, look, we're gonna do it like this, and we're gonna announce it and blase, blase, blase. I really do think that's how that conversation went. I just hope that she's able to craft a different image. And I hope she's able to articulate, not saying that she can't. So please don't take this comment as me saying that, Dr. Heavenly is ignorant or dumb or anything like that. I hope she's able to articulate her concerns and the actions that she's going to take if she is elected. And that's all I'm gonna say on that, y'all. Okay, I've been I kind of stayed on that a little bit longer than what I was intending to. But we still in the politics, y'all. I told you this is going to be a very political and business show. But if you just indulge me for just one moment, y'all, I need a little bit more water. So give me a little bit of time, okay? And we'll be right back, okay? We'll be right back, okay? Ooh, sorry about that, y'all. I'm so sorry about that, and I'm sorry for keeping y'all waiting that long. Okay. Just need to get some water and a little biology break. Okay. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Okay. Like I said, we still in the thick of the politics. Okay, we are still in the thick of the politics. Okay, so Vice President Harris is said to be making a political comeback in 2028 by running for the governor for the governorship of California in California. Okay, and according to the University of California Irvine poll, she is leading amongst other California politicians with a 24% um, pulling 24% of the vote of likely voters. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm sure that there are many, many candidates, you know, on the both Republican and Democrat who would love to run in 2028 for the governorship in California. But y'all, gonna be honest with you. I don't like this. I don't like this. I think that if she does anything, if VP Harris decides to do anything, I think she owes us and herself a full presidential run. A full presidential run. Now, I know what you're probably saying. Papa, she did that in 2020. And okay, I got you. Yes, she did. She did. She ran on her own. But again, we didn't know her. We didn't know her. She was just a senator, and I do believe the junior senator, because I think Dianne Feinstein was still living at the time. So therefore, she was the junior senator of California. So we didn't really know that much about her. But now it's different. She's been vice president for 4 years. She has been on the world stage. She has met with world leaders. She's done X, Y, and Z. She has been in the Situation Room when decisions were made. She has been in the Oval Office when other decisions were made. Now, we're not going to get into were those decisions good or bad, because again, at the end of the day, she was the vice president. She was not the president. So at the end of the day, those decisions went to and came down to President Biden. But that's not the point here. The point is, I think that she would have a better chance running again in 2028 as president than she did in 2020 or 2024. Now let's dissect for a quick moment the 2024 election. Okay, it was really July, late June, early July, when Vice President Harris was put to the front of the ticket. Okay, she was basically you are now it. You are now the it person. And I think that hurt the VP. And that's why I say she needs to run again in 2028, because in 2024, and I think this is another reason why voters were upset, or Democratic voters, I should say, were upset, is because they felt like they did not have a choice. They felt like she was just pressed and pushed upon us. Now, there's one side of the argument that is saying that, hey, she was the vice president, and President Biden did not change anybody on the ticket. So even if he were to win and he became incapacitated, she would be president. If you voted for Biden in the primaries, you inadvertently voted for her, because that's the ticket. And okay, I can I can understand that argument. The other side of that coin is this: we didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice. And let me just say, because yes, I understand that there was another Democratic candidate who ran against President Biden. I get that. But I think the thing is that we didn't have a choice argument is we didn't have a viable choice. Right? We as Democratic voters didn't have a slew foot of candidates to say, okay, yeah, we like you. We think we like you. Okay, come on. And we gonna date y'all during this primary season, and then we're gonna come together, we're gonna vote on one, and then we're gonna defeat 45, 47. Well, at that point, he was just 45. So I think Vice President Harris owes herself another run. And if she loses, then all right, you've already made history. And I hate to say like walk off into the sunset, but at that point, I think you should pivot. I think you should pivot. And I think you should pivot out of politics at that point. I think you should pivot out of politics at that point. Not because you're not good, but because I think you will have talents and things that are better suited, and you can help more people maybe in the private sector than you could in the political space. If she runs in 2028 as a presidential candidate, and loses in the primary, then I think she should direct her attention and her efforts somewhere else. Again, that's just my opinion. I know this is why I don't like talking about politics, because I know some of y'all gonna drag me in these comments, you know. But again, y'all, I'm a student of history, right? I'm a student of history, and history shows that this move of being vice president, running for governor, does not work. It does not work. It did not work for Richard Nixon when he ran for the governorship in the 60s after he lost to John F. Kennedy. It didn't work then. And I'm sorry, I don't see how it's going to work now. Because in that article that this poll was referencing, the Newsweek article, it says that some Democrats are still upset that she lost an election to 45, 47. And for those who are upset that she lost to 45, 47, again, there's been much commentary, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but there's been much commentary on why VP Harris lost to 45, 47. But I believe that part of that, and what needs to be talked about more often, is that she had an abbreviated campaign, right? And she didn't do, in the 4 years, at least in my opinion, she didn't do a job of carving out who she was. When we saw VP Harris, we saw her behind President Biden. And it really did look optically, just going by the optics of it all, it really did look like I'm the headmaster being President Biden, and you are the protege, you are the star student. Stand behind me because you are the star student. And I wish in those 4 years, Vice President Harris would have done more of carving out who she was. And then when it was time for her to become the top of the ticket, although the facts of the economy and everything was on her side, And as much as she wanted to be loyal to the person who gave her the opportunity, if it was me, I would have had a private conversation with President Biden, and I would have said, "Sir, I thank you for the opportunity. You have entrusted me to win this election, and because you have entrusted me to win this election, I'm going to have to say some things that you may not like. I'm going to have to distance myself on some policies that, yeah, I agree with you on, but now since these policies are playing out, I don't think it went the way that it was intended, and I'm going to say something about it." When you have people who are hurting economically, you cannot sit up there and say the economy is good. They don't want to hear that. You can't sit up there and tell them facts and state facts from the Federal Reserve or from the labor Lord have mercy. What is the name of that department? The Commerce Department. You can't do that, and you cannot say, well, when we got in, we had to do all this stuff for COVID. That is true. But people have put COVID out of their minds. You know how I know? Because people ain't washing their hands. Nasty selves. People up in the clubs, shoulder to shoulder, bumping and grinding. Okay? COVID is the last thing on these people's minds. And the protocols and what you had to do are the last thing on these minds. These folks can't pay for their bills now. These folks having a hard time buying groceries now. These folks having a hard time putting gas in their car now. So they don't care what you had to do back then. What are you going to do for me now? Okay? It's like that Janet Jackson song. What have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. That's what voters were thinking about. And one thing that 45, 47 did was, look, I did this for you. 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 And I would have done this, but I had that election. And I'm going to do this. When I get me back up in there, I'm going to continue what I was doing. But then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to do that. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me to see, and look, because I don't get because I was about to get on another tangent, and we don't have time for that. I got some more stuff, and we ain't to the heart of the show, and we almost an hour in. But I really do hope that VP Harris really do take some time and and really should think about this run for the gubernatorial race in California. I really do hope she takes some time and reflect. I really do hope that she gives herself another chance for the presidency. I really do. Just to see. Just to see. Right? All right, y'all. We are now out of the political realm of the show. But one thing I forgot to do at the top of the show, and I'm going to do it right now, is, if you haven't heard, or if you haven't been paying attention to the news, Central Texas was hit by a massive flood. And let's please send up a prayer, a wish, I don't want to say wishful thought, but a positive thought to the flood victims who were affected by this recent flood over the 4th of July weekend. Some of us, like myself, was, chewing hard on some ribs and drinking brown liquor, and others, like the people in Central Texas, were fighting for their lives. You know, and y'all, it really does hurt my heart. Um, it really does hurt my heart. I know. I don't have like a GoFundMe or anything like that to get started, and I need to do some research on how to help, on how to help. But please, 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 just if you are a praying person, pray for those families and for those victims as well as they pick up the pieces while we continue to move on with our life and complain about minor shit. And another prayer for Mama Burks. I think that's Mama Burks. Hold on, let me look that up right now. Oop, that's the wrong password. Y'all got a little thing over here, y'all. Okay, hold on. Yes, 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 yes. Um, yes, 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 yes. Mosey Burks from the Mississippi Mass Choir, known as Mama Burks, has transitioned. Um, she passed at the age of 92. What a long life! What a long life! Um, I hope and pray that I can reach that age. Again, I am a praying man. I'm a man of faith. I come from a preacher background. So, and one of the songs like we used to sing, we used to wear it out too, in my opinion. Loved it every time we sung, but Lord, we wore that song out. It's this morning when I rose, baby. I didn't have no doubt, huh? This morning when I rose, yeah. That song right there, y'all, we wore that song out. But Mama Burks was the lead singer of that song, though. And baby, nobody can do it like her. The last time I saw Mama Burks was with Dottie Peoples when they did like that 50th anniversary reunion uh, concert. And baby, nobody. First of all, Mama Burks looked good. Okay, she really did. And then number two, baby, Mama Burks wanted to sing, and Dottie Peoples held on to that mic. And I'm like, Dottie, if you don't get that mic to that lady, if you don't get that mic to that lady, okay, and let her just go with it. Because ain't can't nobody sing that song like her, and nobody ever will. So please keep the Burks family and the flood victims in Central Texas in your thoughts and prayers. We're gonna take another little quick break, y'all. Y'all can get y'all something to eat or another little snack or something. And we're gonna be right back. Okay, we're gonna be right back. All right, thank y'all so much for bearing with me. Okay. Listen, y'all, I'm going to talk about two more topics. I actually got more, but for the sake of time, all right, for the sake of time, I'm actually going to save these other two stories for the next Papa G show. And so we're going to talk about two more stories and we're going to end on a light note. I told you it was a little heavy today, and I'm sorry about that. Um, Next show is going to be a little heavy. It's going to be a little heavy as well. But it's going to be fun because my commentary is going to make it fun. All right. So let's talk about this former Chicago hospital CFO is accused in stealing $293 million for a fake COVID testing scheme. Y'all, y'all, what is up with these people with doing these crimes and also for COVID testing schemes? Now, I don't know. I need to do a little bit more research on this, and I'm gonna be very honest with you. This story just came to me hot off the press. Producer just dropped it on me. Um, Producer being my honey just dropped this on me, and so I need to do a little bit more research on it. But just on the surface of it, though, just on the surface of it, I this is just absurd to me. You know, I aspire, you know, I aspire to reach that level of success. You know, I'm an accountant by trade. Okay. I am an accountant by trade. And so I aspire, unless y'all want pop up here full time, and then I'm gonna give you what you want. But I I aspire to be a CFO. And I just don't understand someone who got to that level, or someone who gets to that level, I should say it like that. Someone who gets to that level and then just flounders it by doing these schemes. You just make it harder for the next person. And I don't know why, but I have a gut feeling that the person who's going to replace this CFO, because he's definitely getting fired. He's definitely getting fired. The allegations alone is enough to dismiss termination, I should say. But I really do feel that the person who's going to come in after this is going to be a black person, because it just seems to me that when mess or when ish hit the fan, it's usually us who come in and cleans up the mess. Y'all don't believe me? Look at this new CEO of Red Lobster, black man. Who was the CEO before that? A white man. Let me fact check that real quick. While we on the earth, let me go ahead and fact check that real quick. Who CEOs of Red Lobster? Okay. This man 36. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 36 years old. That's the hold on. That ain't that on. I'm talking about the current CEO, y'all. Hold on. Jonathan Tibbs. Jonathan Tibbs sound like a white man, okay? Hold the line. Yeah, he white, y'all. Okay, he white. And so now, this man, this black man's gonna have to come in and clean up with this white man. And I'm not trying to make this a race thing, y'all. I try to steer away from making this a race issue. I just I'm an accountant by trade. And so again, I just find patterns. I just find patterns. And it just seems to me that when mess needs to be cleaned up, they call us. Now we're qualified to be in these lofty positions. Now we're qualified. We're not qualified when things are going good. At least that's what it seems. But when ish hit the fan, or if you getting a little too much heat from a certain demographic, now we are qualified. All of a sudden, we qualified to be in these lofty positions. I hope the new CEO of Red Lobster does well. I really do. I really do. Um, I mean, he's a young man, and if he does well, he has an opportunity to be there for a long time. Fun fact, y'all, the average tenure of a CEO is like 5 years. 5 years is like the average tenure of a CEO because the job is just that stressful and that demanding. We talk about these CEOs and their pay packages and all this other stuff, and that's another discussion for another day. But ask yourself, would you want to be in their shoes? We all want the money. Don't get me wrong. We all want the pay packages because those pay packages are nice. You know, $1 million salary and $5 million in stock. That's lovely. The $5 million stock best over 5 years. That's lovely. That's lovely for real. But do you want the stress that comes with the job? Do you want to be, on vacation and then you get a phone call that you need to hurry back because your COO just quit, or your CFO, in case of the former Chicago hospital CFO, his CEO got a call, hey, we need you to come back, or we need you in because we just found out that your CFO's been embezzling money, allegedly. Now you got to talk to investors. Now you got to calm down your employees. Y'all, that's a job right there. And even when, I was, even with my lofty goal of being a CFO, I've never stepped up my thinking to be, I want to be a CEO. Not because I don't think I can do it, because I really do think that I can do it. But because I don't think I want to deal with the headache that comes with it. if that makes sense. I guess some would say, well, then you can't do the job because to do the job, you want to deal with the headache. You know, I'm not gonna put a limitation on God. You know, if I achieve that goal, if He allows me to achieve that goal, great. But I'm not going to. I don't know how I'm gonna say because I don't want to sound ungrateful and I don't want to count myself out either. If I was already at the C-suite, I wouldn't be actively, let's put it that way, actively going for the CEO role. I wouldn't. But if it was given to me, if God opened up that opportunity and He just placed it on my lap, all right, God, let's work it out. Here are my demands. I talk to God like I talk to y'all. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That's sidebar. I really do. I be up in this office. I be in the car. Look, God, okay, look, I need your help. Okay. I need your help. I done slipped and fell in it, and I need your help. Okay. And He come through. He come through every time, y'all. Every time. Every time. But we're gonna end this show on a high. Okay. We're gonna end it on a high, and that is um Funky Dineva and Miss Claudia Jordan have made up. So if y'all don't know what's going on in that situation, all right, about a couple years ago, was it a couple years ago? Has it been that long? I would, hold on, I'm trying to do the relative time map in my head. I think it was a couple years ago. I'm gonna say a couple years ago. A couple years ago, um, Funky Dineva left Fox Soul's channel TGIF. He did a big announcement. He put it on his YouTube channel. Y'all can go view it for yourself. I think if it's still there. And on why he's leaving TGIF. And allegedly he left because they didn't pay him an extra $250 a week. That's how he tells the story. And then when he left, he started his own. He went back to his own channel and started doing his show that's on every night, Funky Dineva Live, right? And at the time he did it, he went live when TGIF was on. And so now you have two shows running parallel. And guess whose show got the most viewership? Funky Dineva's. And this ain't alleged at this point. This is what I know. I mean, I went and I looked at a Fox Soul TGIF video without Funky Dineva, and then the same night when Funky Dineva went live, and Funky Dineva had way more viewership than TGIF on Fox Soul. And then when TGIF went belly up, it was a whole ordeal. It was backstabbing and released text messages. And y'all, I'm not gonna bore y'all with the whole rigmarole. And what I mean by rigmarole, the whole rundown, because quite frankly, it doesn't make any sense to me. But y'all, I'm a simpleton, okay? So let's just I'm simple. But over the weekend at Essence Fest, Funky Dineva had a party and invited Claudia Jordan, and there he apologized to Claudia Jordan and said that he would like to work with her again. And Claudia Jordan seemed very open to it. She said that she would like to work with Funky again, and let's just put this all behind us. Our problems really weren't that deep. But if you was following that whole TGIF debacle, it really was that deep because and at this point, I want to know who lied. Because first it was Funky sabotaged the show because he went live and took viewership, allegedly. Then it went from it was Al Reynolds, who um who was the master manipulator. Then it turned to no, it was really Claudia who was the master manipulator. And y'all, yeah, I don't know. I hope I hope if they ever do get back to working together, they being Claudia Jordan and Funky Dineva, I hope they really do give us a timeline or a version of what really happened. I don't think we're gonna get it, but I really do hope that they give us something so we can understand what happened. And will the gang get back together? Will it be Funky Dineva, Claudia Jordan, and Al Reynolds again? That was a great. If y'all did not watch TGIF, that was really um a great show. It had a real good mix of people on there, and those three individuals worked well with each other. They bounced off each other. It was a really the chemistry was there, and this has nothing to do with Armand Wiggins, who was the replacement of Funky Dineva. But when Armand came on there, it did shift the dynamics just a tad bit, and apparently that's because of, of behind the scenes stuff. That's all that rigmarole down. I'm telling y'all that they ain't going back down in there. And if you watching this, you probably done went down the rabbit hole yourself, and you probably just as confused as me right now, right? Um, Out of all of this, I want to know where Al Reynolds at. I think that's what I want to know. Where is Al Reynolds in all of this? Because even when that whole stuff went down, he made a little video, but that video was very middle of the road. I'm not trying to ruffle any type of feathers type of thing. It really wasn't a this is what really happened. He kind of stayed above the fray with that. And also in the video, and y'all can see this on multiple outlets. Oliver the Twist, or I think that's it. I think that's his YouTube name. Um, Posted the video, and maybe Funky Dineva will be talking about it on his show, or has talked about it on his show, so you can hear it there too. But I want to know. I'm sorry. In that video, they talk about some of the back behind the scenes stuff at Fox Soul, and they kind of trash Fox Soul. So if they're going to work together and they're going to work together on another network, hopefully the network that they're going to won't see these comments. Well, JT, that's a different network. Why would it matter? Well, here's why. Here's why. When you go and you leave your job, or you quit your job, and you didn't like the people or the management team or anything like that, you don't go to a new job or interview for a new role and talk and trash your former employer. Because one thing about this business world is that everybody done been everywhere. Everybody done been everywhere, and everybody seems to know everybody. All right. That I don't do that. I don't do that. I will come up with something before I trash my last employer. And God, I didn't do that when I switched jobs here recently. I didn't do that. And God knows that my last employer management team, they didn't too much care for me. I ain't too much care for them. But I'm not going to sit up there and say that at the new job, at the new place. No, because I understand that the demise or the uncoupling of that relationship lied on both of us, my previous management team and me. And so if I see a video, if I'm a TV executive and I see this video about you trashing another network that we may partially own, or, I'm saying I may have worked with that person or X, Y, and Z, I don't see that boding well for Funky Naniva or Claudia Jordan. And maybe they're not trying to go to a network. Maybe they're trying to do another YouTube series. I don't know. I don't know. What I do know is that they made up. And what I do know is that I ain't seen or heard from Al Reynolds in a minute. Okay. I ain't seen or heard from him in a minute. That man did a whole disappearing act, it seems like. But that's the show for tonight, y'all. Okay. Thank y'all so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to watch the Papa G show. Okay. And as always, okay, do what the banner is telling you to do. I need you to like. I need you to comment. I need you to subscribe. That is the Holy Trinity, y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. What is my saying? I needs all three. I needs all three. Okay. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments. Am I the only one that's thinking this way? Right? And until the next Papa G show, y'all, remember, Papa loves you. I see y'all.